So, okay, let me just ask you a quick question. Are there employees W-2s or are there employees 1099s? Around in Summit County. I go, okay, not, like I said, knock yourself out.
So the other thing that they're trying
Oh, really?
So what do we?
You know, we get 50
Am I-
submissions
just
a
pop
week.
like you're
Hello,
excited.
hello.
You guys hear it? Can you guys online hear us?
And I get pretty, I apologize. I would just say,
Can they hear us? Okay. Right, this is weird, because I'm so used to different classes now, this is my C finally, so. So welcome to our Lunch and Learn today, unique value proposition. This is a, it seems simple when you start talking about it, but it's very, very hard, and it's so important to make sure that you have a unique value proposition and it's visible. It drives me nuts when I have to go out and find out what a company does and I can't do it because I don't know what they do, because they don't tell me what they do. So we're going to talk today about unique value proposition. We're going to probably spend about half hour, 45 minutes, and then we can take stuff offline. Another thing we're doing here at the mill, just so you know, Monique is gathering information. We're going to create a directory, an online directory that we can expose to the outside world of all of you guys and your contact information. We're going to have it industry specific, and then you'll also need a short description of what you guys do. It's interesting. Well, I've done this in the past with some of the other organizations, you know, most recently with Goldman Sachs, and we go through this exercise and I want them to give me a unique value proposition, and some people will give me 10 words and some people will give me 6 paragraphs. Neither of those work. So today we're really going to talk about what we need in a unique value proposition and what you guys should be using to talk about your business. So it's going to be a little interactive today. Oh no, oh I can turn it on. Maybe. Well, we're still, oh, there we go. Okay, so here's the first question. Do you have a single clear and compelling message that states what you do, why you're different, and why you're worth buying? Do you have that statement anywhere in your life? Or do you have the alternative, which is you rely on your customer to figure out what you do? Okay, so it's very important that you understand what I just said, because if in fact I go to your website or your marketing material, your Instagram, your social media, and I have to figure out what you do. I may not interpret what you do very well, and I'm known for that. So let's take a peek. So really quickly, log on to your website or your Facebook, your social media, and what is the first thing? I'm going to pick on you two in the room, so. Do you have your website? What's the first thing it says?
What do you need to fix next in your business?
Ah, that's not bad. What do you need to fix next in your business? What's the next sentence?
Pinpoint what to do next in your business to get on your path to freedom.
So pinpoint what you do next in your business to get on the path to freedom. I still don't know what you do though. And we're talking accounting, right? Yeah. So again, that's some great taglines. We'll talk about that. But I still, if I hit your website, or if someone else out there is doing research and they come across your website, they still don't know what it is you do. And they have to go to an about, or they have to continue on, which in some cases is not a bad thing. But if someone comes to your website and they only have 8 seconds and they read that, they may go on to the next. Bobby, now you got a mouthful of lettuce.
Oh, perfect.
Do you have your website up yet?
Yeah.
Okay, what does yours say?
It says fluent in website design and branding, so your business doesn't have to be.
Okay, so that's a good one. So fluent, and
Fluent in website design and branding, so your business doesn't have to.
yeah, so fluent in website design and branding, so your business doesn't have to be. So that's good. I like that. How about Bobby?
Tired of no sales from your website. Easily convert leads to customers with your sales site.
Okay, good. So we got some good. So this is good. As we kind of expand that a little bit, and we talk about our directory here at the middle, we want to add a few more words to that, but that's pretty good start. So boy, this clicker is just not. So basically, your unique value proposition at its purest level is a clear story that explains how your product or service solves a customer problem in a unique, superior way. So it's a little different from your elevator pitch, because your elevator pitch is more of a, hey, let's get a conversation going. We want to be very, very specific in our unique value proposition. Because if you don't have it, then your customer has to make up their own mind on what they think you do. And you don't want that. You don't want them thinking that they need a very specific bookkeeping or accounting solution, and they're not hearing the keywords that they want to hear. So again, we have tools on how we go through this. We're going to talk about those a little bit. It's interesting, unique value proposition. If you go over the past 10 years of launching small businesses and pitch decks and raising money and talking to VCs and even small business loan, UVP is usually the dead center of all the competitions. That's what they want to know what it is. If you're talking to an angel investor or a VC, they're going to probably ask you quite a few questions, but I guarantee you they'll ask you what your unique value proposition is. And they're going to ask you also what your assumptions are, and we'll get into that as well. But this is really one of the most important things early on in your business that you can have, because that is what sets you apart from everyone else. If you search, if I need a bookkeeper and I just search for bookkeeping, I'm going to get a lot of responses on Google. You need to have a clear and compelling reason why you are better. So your UVP should be dead center on your landing page or your Instagram page or whenever you want to talk about your business or what you do. You have to have enough information to allow them to make a decision. It needs to be different from your competitor. And that difference really needs to matter, and that's when we start talking about competitive advantage. but you need to really dial in on why someone wants to engage you versus engaging your your competitor. And again, it explains a little bit about your product and service and how it will your product will address their need. Again, without, I keep going back to this, without your UVP, everyone makes up their own mind about what your product and your service does. So, any questions so far? Anything on that?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
So again, as we move to create our online directory, we want you to start start answering some of these questions. So what I want to do really quickly, again, Steve Blank, so he wrote the 4 Steps of Epiphany. He's also very, very instrumental in this, the last 15 years of lean startup and very, very specific techniques of launching a small business. But it's a single, clear, and compelling message that states why you're different and why you're worth buying. We're going to go through two examples, and then we're going to take about 5 minutes for you guys to kind of clean up yours, and then we'll kind of do a round table and get some more feedback. But this is kind of a long UVP. I left it. I cut this right off of a website. I can go in and change it, make it smaller, wordsmith it, but I didn't want to do that because I just wanted to show you 3 things that I really liked about this UVP. So the first, and it's kind of, broken down in 3 sentences really. So the first sentence is, we help technology companies successfully launch new products into the marketplace and assist them to achieve their sales goals. That's pretty compelling, right? We help you launch your products and we help you achieve sales goals. So, kind of cool. Next sentence, we focus.
We have a question.
Uh,
Who should we be different from?
your competitors.
Every competitor? The biggest one, the smallest one? What do you mean?
So you want to, first of all, you want to be able to differentiate yourself as much as you can. So if you are in a geographical location with geographical competitors like landscapers, coffee trucks, that sort of thing, you want to pick on those guys. And you want to be very, very specific on how you can differentiate yourself with those localized competitors. If you are a global, like you're doing stuff on Amazon, or your market is a lot bigger geographically, I would look at what your customers are saying about you, your existing customers, and why they liked you, and you could maybe go back and ask them why they went with you. But listen to your existing customers and try and get the reasons why they bought. If you're in a very competitive field, yes, it's hard to be different from everybody, but I would go back to rely on your existing customers and see what it is they like about you.
Okay, again, so she says there's always more than one competitor for any product. Sometimes we speak about this like we're Wendy's and they are McDonald's. Again, differentiate from whom? I have 3 competitors, all of which are differentiating themselves from each other.
So, so one of the exercises we're going to do is we're going to do competitive analysis, or we're going to talk about that. And so yeah, you have 4 or 5 different competitors that are all differentiating themselves differently. I, again, would go back to an existing customer or your customers and ask them why they went with you and start promoting that. If you have a different way of doing something, so if you have some intellectual property or some sort of technique that's different, I would absolutely talk about that. When we go to competitive analysis, I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. That's a fun exercise to go out, list all your competitors and list their UVP and just see what they're talking about. One of the things that you may about some of the larger companies and some of the more, you know, if you have a competitor that's a lot bigger than you, you may be able to fill out some information from the UVP on why. They may be saying something that's really got someone's attention that you need to start saying. But again, you want to be able to differentiate yourself by your technique, your intellectual property, you know, how you do it. Anyone? That didn't answer it. Keep going. So back to the screen. So the first part is really cool, and we help you launch products and achieve sales goals. I like that. That got my attention. That's why I really like this one. I don't know if they can actually do it or not, but that's good. The second sentence is we focus on the often dropped off handoff between sales and marketing. I worked in a big software company in the past, and I totally get what he's saying here. I just resonated with the fact that marketing does all their work, sales does all their work, but we never really talk together. So that got my attention. And then the last sentence, as a result, our clients are able to move more easily to meet projected sales goals and significantly shorten time to profitability. Again, really cool words got my attention. If I was a large company that had a big sales force and a big marketing company, this UVP really got my attention.
If you were gonna like hone in on what their UVP is it that second sentence? We focus in on the often dropped handoff between sales and marketing. That I haven't heard that before. Is there usually a real focus thing that shows, hey, we're different?
Well, there's kind of the same with three questions. You know, what is it you guys do? How are you doing it? And why you do it? So those are really the three things. And you can phrase it different. Some people, who, what, why, and all that. But what you really want to is say, this is what we do. This is how we do it. And then the why is because we meet projected sales goals and significant shortened time profitability. So they answer all three of those. So the first sentence is, this is what we do. We help you launch business. We help you launch new products into the market and to achieve sales goals. So that is what they do. How do they do it? They focus on sales and marketing and the communication between sales and marketing. And then why are they doing it? Because they can hit profitability quickly. So it's the.
But do you have a mindset of what makes us unique? Because if everybody does that.
Well, what's unique about this is they're unique in this, and I went to a bunch of, this is an IT company, IT company that uses SEO. What was unique about this that got my attention was the fact that they said, we focus on your sales goals. So my service focuses on your sales goals. And that's how I read this. So basically it says, I'm not interested in selling you a product or service. I'm interested in your sales goals. That's what I pulled. That was my interpretation. But you got a different interpretation. So that's this is the craziness of UVPs, right? I would love to go and talk to these guys' customers and say exactly how they feel about this UVP. But so the uniqueness to me, because I'm sure people say this, we help you generate revenue. I'm sure there's people out there doing it. But this one just happened to grab my attention. The other thing that was unique in here, so there's three things I thought that was unique. The one is we focus on sales. We focus on sales, and we focus on your sales goals, and then we understand the communication between sales and marketing, which most companies are siloed, and there's very little communication between sales and marketing. So I like that as well. And then short time of profitability, I think, is always an issue. So does that make sense? I mean, do you see a uniqueness in this or a non?
I think the often dropped handoff between sales and marketing, that is interesting to me because it's saying this is what most other companies miss.
Yep.
Which to me, that's the uniqueness of it is, oh yeah, we look somewhere that nobody else is looking to help you. And to me, that really stood out.
Well, and that's, and I said earlier, I would love to attack this and wordsmith it, because I think you're onto something. You're onto, so we talk about words, and you want to pick good keywords, but this, if we were to dissect this, we could really sharpen this up to make it a very, very, even more compelling UVP, just by changing words, right? Because what you just said, yeah, that's, we've changed a few of those words. So I'm not crazy about the often drop, handoff. That's hard for me to say.
Yeah.
I think you can switch those words around a little bit.
What it implies is kind of unique to me.
Yeah, I think they could do a lot better job focusing on that particular piece.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't know, back when I was in that space, yeah, that was a huge issue for us, and we didn't have anyone to help us. So. All right, we're gonna see if the clicker works. It's not quite Bluetooth. And there we go. This is Uber. This was one of the very first UVPs from Uber. They're all over the place now. They've got multiple business model or business sectors they're in, but I love these. So the top one this was their tagline: "Tap the app, get a ride." I thought that was kind of clever. And you got to go way back to when these guys were coming out. But their UVP, this particular UVP, is so simple. And this was in their second pitch deck, I think, but Uber is the smartest way to get around. One tap and a car comes directly to you. Your driver knows exactly where to go, and payment is completely cashless. That's beautiful. I think that is such a great UVP. In fact, it doesn't even sound real, right? It's like, how could that happen?
It's not a taxi, that's for sure.
Yeah, even today that sounds unreal to me, right? And I use Uber. But you got to realize that when this was actually their UVP when they were launching, yeah, it shook the world, as we all know. They're a big company now. So, yeah, I really like this UVP. Oh, come on, I need new batteries. Maybe. There we go. So let's talk a little bit about where to get started and how do you start doing this. So in the email we sent out, we have there's this document floating around. It's been floating around the school here. It's part of Lean Startup. It's called Big Idea, and I like it. What's your big idea? So in most of the classes that we teach here, we go through the Big Idea Worksheet. And all this is for you to get organized on really what it is you think you do. So if you don't know where to start on a UVP, or if you have a UVP, I still recommend you go through the exercise of answering these 7 questions. The Big Idea Worksheet came out of early stage companies as they're starting to design their idea and come up with a minimum viable product. But this works for multi-million-dollar companies that are going out and creating a new marketing campaign, or they want to tighten up some of their messaging. So, and again, this isn't an email, but take some time. If you're caught and you're not quite sure where to start, go through and answer these questions. What is your idea? What is your big idea? So that is, what is it that you do? I'm an accountant, I do bookkeeping, I do IT services, I build websites. What is it you do? List them, don't wordsmith it yet, just start popping in statements or even bullet points. And then you want to describe the pain that you want to solve. So what is it you're solving? So you're a bookkeeper, you're solving this. You're a web design, you're solving this. So get those things down. What's interesting about, and Bobby, where do we start pinpointing our uniqueness? We start that with, the question number 3. What is their problem? And if we can identify their problem, which most people that need IT services have kind of the same problem. So this is a little bit, you can, it's easy to identify the problem, but when you really get into how are you solving that problem is where you can start to get your uniqueness. So
Is it an emotional thing too? Like how to get emotional with them?
it can be, I mean, if a lot of people make emotional decisions. So, you want to, if your customer base that you're talking to is an emotional customer base, then yeah, you'll have to have some emotion in there. But it kind of goes to, number 4, who experiences the pain. So this is an interesting concept we go through when we start developing who our customers are, right? Because we have customers that, if you're B2B, your customer, you have the person who's actually going to use your product or service. You may have someone who writes the check, you have to give off or sign off, and then you may have the CEO of the company that wants to use something completely different. So you want to know who is it that is experiencing that pain. And then how's it currently solved today? Again, competitive analysis will show you how's it being solved. Who are your competitors? What are they doing? And then we go back to question number 6 is how does your idea solve that pain? Are you specific enough in saying, this is the problem, this is the solution, and I solve that problem? And then, of course, number 7 is, why is your idea better than what's currently being used?
Seems to me number 7 has to be the most important. If you
Yeah.
know better than what's out there, how are you gonna differentiate and go anywhere?
Yeah, and that's true with everything, right? From landscaping to mousetraps to anything. There's a lot of competitors, you have to have a why are you better? And funny enough, you may be better because you have better marketing.
And it's not unique or different, it's better.
Yeah.
That's the key there.
Yeah.
It isn't just about being unique. It has to be better to get ahead.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, we're raising hands, I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
That's my stuff.
Yeah, I think like I've fallen into this trap as an entrepreneur where you always think to go into a market, you have to be totally unique, different, something nobody's ever done before, but you don't have to be. But sometimes to be better, like I said, you just have better customer service, you have better marketing, you just have better messaging, you have better employees, like whatever that can be. Like, there's a ton of companies. Sometimes people do research and be like, oh, I thought this was a unique idea, but somebody else is doing it, so I'm not going to do it. Like, there's almost no idea or industry where you don't have competitors.
I've yet to see one.
Yeah. So,
unless you're talking about retina replacement, there's people working on that, but they're not doing it yet. But other than that, you're right. I mean, pretty much there's a lot of, everything's been invented. It's just ways of doing it. Like, for example, a minute ago we were talking about Uber, okay? Taxis have been around for 100 years, okay? They just came in and did it just a little bit different, but taxis have been around. Landscaping companies, I got a new one popping up in Park City this year. They are unique in the Park City area. I don't know, I haven't done enough research to see if there's other companies doing what they're doing, but they are really the first company in Summit County and Wasatch Back that are doing landscape in a very, very unique way. But the end user may or may not care. So it comes down to what is your message and what is that value proposition you're talking about? Because, if it comes to, let's pick on landscaping, we cut lawns and make your yard beautiful. Everyone does that, who's in that business, right? Supposedly. So their message is we're bringing in science to, they're an ecology company, so they're going to use natural supplements and fertilizer and all that stuff, and they're going to compost your tree. If they trim your trees, they're going to compost it, stick it right back in the ground. But they're bringing the science behind it, and that's their unique value proposition. But the lawn's still going to be green, right? And the weeds are going to be gone. But their message is the science and healing the earth all that other stuff. So again, back to the point, it's messaging is so important, and that's kind of why we're in here today. So, I was going to have you guys take a few minutes and write down your UVP, but what I think we're going to do, so take, I know most people in here don't have pencils, but is there any, oh, this thing is going crazy. Is there anyone who still does not know where to start or start creating their UVP? Now, do you have a UVP?
Mhm.
What is it?
So our unique value proposition, so we do marketing by giving back to kids. That's kind of our unique value, right? So that cause and us, taking marketing budgets and giving back to the kids creates that really unique value, and then we give them all the tools to actually lead that to a win or a sale.
So if we go to your website, is that pretty clear and concise on the top?
Depending on the day.
I'm like, which website are you?
Exactly. We're in the middle of a rebrand at
Yeah,
the
that's
moment
right,
for
that's
Fire
right.
Toss and going to sponsor, so.
It's the wrong question there.
It should be, I hope so, maybe. I know, let me say it this way, in all of our like automated messaging, like our email sequences, all of our push out stuff, we send about 1,000 emails a week through HubSpot, automated emails and everything, and it's all the messaging there is very clear.
Okay.
Our website might be a different story.
Okay, so I mean, this is kind of the end of what I had to talk about, other than I gave you a couple of call to actions here. Like I said, we are building.
John, can I just mention something real quick? So what you went through, so if you can look up the Big Idea Canvas online, and it actually has a pretty cool tool where it asks you all those questions, and then it creates like this thesis statement. Like it uses the answers to your, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun.
No, that's what these are the questions. Sorry.
Yeah, they are.
Right here.
But the cool thing is online when you do it, if you fill in the answers, it actually makes a one paragraph, like describe your company in a paragraph using the answers to all these, which can be really.
Yeah, and I'll put that out on the Facebook page, because that's and the guys that
A
wrote
link
that.
to that?
What's that?
A link to that?
Yeah, I'll put the link on it. So that's Nathan
Is it free?
Furr and Paul Strom that did that. So they're Paul's a BC here in Utah, and Nathan is an instructor at BYU. So
The Big Idea Canvas is way better than some of the other canvases.
well, there's a million canvases out there.
This one's a good one.
Yeah. So I will link. That's good. I'm glad you brought that up, because this is actually from that. So I forgot. I forgot about their automated tool, because it does. You answer these questions.
And I want that.
And what's that?
I want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll put that up on Facebook when I get back in there, because that is a great tool. But it is important to make sure that so let me just give you a scenario, right? Let's just say that Beth's in here and I'm in here. We do a lot of outside marketing and promoting and all that. And if someone came to me and said, "Hey, I am interested in youth sports and how to raise money for youth sports," I'm like, I know the right guy. And I go to your website, because I have to cut and paste, right? I don't have the energy to. But if I go to your website and I have no idea what you do, I can't. I have to make it up. And I'm not very good at. Well, I'm really good at telling stories, but not the correct story. So that's the piece that we need to have. And so moving forward, we're creating this directory, like I said, and we need to have a paragraph no more than 50 words. This one.
It should be above the fold. It should be there right on the top.
Yeah. So this one here, like 46 words. And the reason that's so important is not just for being clients here at the mill, but why it's important to me is because we really are gonna start pushing outward the stuff that we're doing here. And we need success stories, but if someone comes along and says, hey, I need to know, are there any veteran roofers in our, I know we have one, I need to point, whoever's asking to, their website, or I need to, do a little work. I can't make any of this stuff up. So it's really, really important to us that you have a really compelling UVP. Ubers again, cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you out the big idea worksheet, or the online piece. The other thing that I want you to do is go do a competitive analysis, get at least 3, if you can, maybe 5 of your competitors, and list their UVPs and look at how you compare to them. That'll give you, again, back to what you're saying, Bobby, that'll give you some, oh wait, I can sound a little bitter here. Maybe they're all talking about a specific thing that's really important in today's world. So go look at your competitors and see what they're doing. You learn, first of all, competitive analysis are very important because you learn a lot. If you guys are really just starting out or in the early stage, it's good to see what your competitors are doing. They can, or more importantly, what they're not doing, right? There may be a reason they're not doing what you're wanting to do. And that is, I think that's all I have today. So it's very important. It's harder than it sounds. We struggle with Goldman Sachs program. We spend days, weeks with mature companies that have no idea what they do. So it is very, very difficult, but it's so important, especially now. It's even more important now than it was a few years ago because of this. If you can't very, very quickly explain to someone in literally less than 30 words, you're going to miss out on a lot of people.
Well, I just want to tell a simple story because it can be, like, every word means a lot. Like, one of the big impetus of us changing our name from Fund Easy to Sponsor, if we send out emails, and we did this, we were sending out emails to coaches in high schools, and we said, no more, the subject, no more fundraising, get sponsored.
Yep.
We sent out 72 emails and had no opens, 0. Okay. What we didn't know is fundraising is blocked by most of these schools, right? Just the term. Okay. So they didn't even see ours. We changed it to get sponsored for your sport. We have a 60% open right now.
Yeah.
Right. So you think of that one change, and that's why we went away from, again, Fund Easy, because every one of our competitors has some version of fund and raise in their name, and we want to be different because we are different. We've got a unique value proposition. We're not asking for donations, something, we're just sponsoring kids. But again, that's how important, like, nailing your messaging can be. And if we didn't run A/B tests and change that subject line, so it's one thing to write your thing, but then you need to utilize, this is just my suggestion, like, create sequences in HubSpot, like, send it out, track your open rates, track, like, how successful, like, don't just have it in theory and put it on the website, because you can't track if people are liking it or not liking it that way. You have to, like, take it to the next level where you're utilizing marketing tools to get out there.
That's it.
Just out of curiosity, how did you find that out, how did you find out specifically that it was fundraising that was blocked? How did you find that out?
And I should say, we're still kind of guessing at that.
Oh, okay. I was just
When
curious.
you see an anomaly like that, like, when we talk with any coach, like, this is awesome, we want to do it. So if we send 72 emails with 0% open rate, like,
that's what you
that's
think
really
is the
unusual,
reason.
right? So, like,
I was just curious if you had some tool that you analyzed that.
Well, and what's interesting, and again, that's a great idea, is use HubSpot and test some of your
Which we have a 90% discount.
And we have a discount, members of the mill get a discount on HubSpot, but that's a great idea. Test it. You have 500 emails you want to send out, send 5 different messages to 100 people and see what happens. And then, if you get 100 that don't answer, then send them the other message. Get them again next week with the right one, right? But I think that's I didn't think about, SEO and all that other stuff is very tied to these keywords. Back when I was doing this, back before social media, the big example we used for wordsmithing was in the auto industry, you had BMW, this back in the 90s. So BMW was known for performance, Audi was known for design. They come out with the new Quattro and all that, and then Mercedes was the luxury car. And so we always used to say, hey, are you a Mercedes, are you an Audi, or are you a BMW? That's kind of changed now because they're all chasing the same. But my point here is the keywords. Really look at your keywords and test them. The other thing that's kind of cool to do too is you can set up some sort of survey monkey, or ask your when you're done with your customers, ask them for a review. Look at your reviews and see if you can get keywords out of what they're saying, because they may have thought your product and service is a little bit different than you do, and they may tell you that with a review. So that's about it. Is there any other questions online? Okay, so look at the Facebook page. I'll send you the link. Sharpen up your UVPs because we're going to be needing those as we start building out our directory. And that's it.
Is that Big Idea Canvas, is it free to do that?
What's that?
Is it
Yes.
free to do the
Yeah.
thing?
You have to sign up and you'll get some email from Paul.
Okay.
It's a good tool. I totally forgot about their online version. So
They've got a worksheet too, like I've got a PDF front and back that'll you handwrite in your own thing. So that you can put it.
all right, that's all I have. Let me know if you have any questions. Chase us on Facebook.
This is delayed just a little bit, so.
Okay.
What's your company called?
Sponsor,
Sponsor.
SPONSR, not without the final O.
Okay. So apparently mail servers don't check spelling.
No,
If a word comes through that's not spelled correctly,
I think in our subject lines, we still say like get sponsor, we still right, but just,
Name of the company.
yeah, Fire Toss kind of did a bunch of stuff for us because Tony's kind of a partner of ours and they came up with that name.
Yeah.
We like it. And it makes more sense we have kind of the two-sided marketplace of businesses and kids. And sponsor makes sense for both.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Super cool.
And now we're running into like, how and when do you exactly tell everybody your name has changed? It's like this slow transition.
Continue to do something.
Yeah, this thing.